Jamal Murray to Jokic. Jokic backs up for the win. Yes! Nikola Jokic buries it. Oh my God!
Strictly basketball. That's one of the secrets to Nikola Jokic's success. Two-time NBA MVP and NBA champion for the first time with the Denver Nuggets. The Serbian MVP is leading the NBA playoffs in points, rebounds, and assists. And not only that, but he's established himself as the best player on the planet. But seriously, how does he make these difficult shots look easy?
It up, falling away, puts it up, bang!
How can this kid be the best player in probably the most athletically demanding league in the world? What is really behind the Joker's enigmatic personality? Well, the answer is simple. Some of the NBA's most bizarre habits. Every little brother in any family knows all too well the cons of being the baby in the family. They are always at a disadvantage in the case of a fight or in the case of playing any sport. This is a factor that surely influenced Jokic's development when he played basketball with his two brothers, Strahinja and Nemanja, who were 10 years older than him. The family lived in Sombor, a town in Serbia with a population of just over 40,000. Nikola shared a home with his two brothers, his two parents, and his grandmother. To top it off, both of Jokic's brothers were great basketball players. In fact, Nemanja Jokic went to the United States to play college basketball and try his luck in a North American country. And also, both players were friends with Darko Milicic, the number 2 overall pick of the legendary 2003 draft. Or in other words, the player who was drafted behind LeBron James, but before Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. However, basketball was not Nikola's only hobby. Jokic loved horse racing as well. And when we say he loved it, we mean he loved it. His parents took him to see a horse race for the first time when he was 10 years old. And from then on, Nikola fell in love with the equine world. So yes, for him, what we saw at the moment of the 2022 MVP Trophy Award announcement is basically a normal day. But Jokic's regular day isn't exactly like the rest of his colleagues. The aura that Jokic gives off is very strange for a basketball player. In the era of advanced statistics and box scores, it seems that the Serbian doesn't pay much attention to this kind of data. But still, Nikola manages to produce statistical anomalies every time he steps on the court. During the 2022-23 regular season, he averaged 24.5 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 9 assists per game, with a 63% shooting from the field. A percentage that Dwight Howard, unanimously considered the best center in the league about 10 years ago, has only achieved once. Moreover, considering Nikola's shot selection, this milestone gains even more importance. But what's even more incredible, during the playoffs, Jokic has averaged 30.1 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 9.8 assists per game, in numbers that no player has averaged in the playoffs ever.
I don't care. It's just a stat.
And that says it all. Jokic doesn't care. Being one of the most famous and influential athletes around the world, especially in the European market, Nikola has no Instagram account, no Twitter account, and surprisingly, no TikTok account. All players boost their revenues by using their social media accounts as a showcase for their sponsors, amounting to truly astronomical ad revenue. It's also a way of interacting with fans and gaining relevance in the complex world of marketing in which we're immersed. But that doesn't matter to Jokic. There aren't many things that matter to him beyond his professional success. And yes, we're thankful that he plays basketball, but one of the things that truly matters to him is his family. Nikola has certain habits before and after games that help him feel close to his loved ones. One of them has to do with his wife Natalia, who's been his partner since they were both teenagers. Natalia moved with Nikola to the United States when the Serbian was drafted, but to feel even closer to her when he's on the court, Nikola has a very curious habit. Before every game, Jokic ties his wedding ring to the laces of one of his sneakers. Always. And when his daughter comes to see him, they always point to the ring from a distance when the game's over. Always. He recently explained how this custom of carrying the ring with him comes from a former teammate of his when he played in Serbia, when people wondered what the gesture really meant now that the player also has his first NBA ring. Great irony, isn't it?
Murray, Jokic, the flush. Well, I mean, in that time...
Well, you have to go back to Jokic's time in Serbian basketball to find an even greater irony. There's a great debate among Denver fans about whether Carmelo Anthony's number 15 should be retired. And, well, as you all know, that's Nikola Jokic's current number with the Nuggets. But why did Nikola pick the same number as the past Denver great? Actually, no reason at all. Because as we're used to, Jokic didn't care. It was actually a choice of one of his first coaches, and to understand his criteria, we have to take into account the European custom regarding jersey numbers. It's very common in the old continent that the federations limit the numbers that can be used in the different leagues, usually being allowed numbers from 4 to 15 for their 12 eligible players. So Nikola's coach, following the most basic criteria one can imagine, decided to assign the biggest jersey number to his biggest player on the team, which happened to be Nikola. Jokic started playing basketball with that number, and as a man of habit, he decided to keep it in the NBA.
Now Jokic on the move again against Gorgui. Put it to bed. 189.
After all, who's this Carmelo Anthony next to the 41st pick of the 2012 draft? An innocent decision by the Serbian man that may cost Melo the retirement of his jersey in Denver. Now, that's irony. And that's certainly a word that can define the Serbian player's career. But the most ironic thing of all is that despite the serious and immutable image, Jokic is one of the funniest players in the league. He makes everything around him seem more fun. And that's great when you're in the same boat as him, but it can be terrible if you're playing against him that night. Just ask Rudy Gobert, who in a Denver Nuggets visit to Utah had to deal with one of the best performances of the Joker's career.
Now Monte Morris. Jokic going to shoot another three. And he makes another three.
In a game in which the Serbian got 47 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists, the highlight came months later, when Jamal Murray told one of the funniest stories of Jokic's career.
Gobert goes, no, I got him. So Jokic has the ball, he goes, brother, I have 47.
What's the look on your face if that happens to you? Because I'd certainly like to disappear. That goofiness innately accompanies his personality, creating a unique contrast. Jokic is a bit like that serious friend, who every time he opens his mouth makes the whole group laugh. And that chemistry shows with players with similar personalities, like Luka Doncic. But that's part of his secret. His essence is that ability to abstract from pressure as if he were a child with no responsibilities. Beyond all the money figures that move around him, beyond the hopes of the entire city of Denver, which has never felt what it means to win an NBA championship, and beyond the individual awards, the only things that seem to matter to the Serbian can be counted on the fingers of one hand, and one of them is strictly basketball. Now that he's won a championship ring with Denver, Jokic can be considered one of the 5 best centers in NBA history. At only 28 years old, and with a style of play that will allow him to play for many, many more years. Maybe, this time, and only this time, Nikola Jokic will care.